telling me it's now discoverable, Beavis.
Yeah. My finger discovered my butt.
Troy Bond has huge balls. Oh, I lost my Aquafina water, which means I won't be able to do black sound on this episode. But it does mean that we'll be able to do voicemails. Welcome to Bonding. Greetings, exalted ones. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Troy Bond. Oh, and I just knocked over my own sign on this very homemade podcast because we're in my home and I made it. Today's guest is you, the American people, as Sean Hannity would say, because he has no soul. And we have a bunch of voicemails in the tank from when we were on the last episode of the Bonding Podcast, we were doing voiceovers. And I have a bunch more, and that's something I'd like to keep doing. So in the spirit of that shit, let's listen to what you had to say. I'm sure some of these are addressed to Tori, and I'm sure some are addressed to me. Tori's not here. She's worked. Tori Cole's not here right now, but if you'd like to leave a message, she still won't hear it. First of all, thank you. There's two cameras, so I keep changing what I'm looking at. Sorry. I also don't ever know if people like it when you look in the cameras, because then it breaks the fourth wall. And also it's like we're having an actual conversation. And if you're listening to this right now on your way to work, pee in the coffee maker if you feel left out of the video topics. But first of all, let me see if this whole mixer picked up on the Bluetooth connected old thingy, because Cheboygan is not good with with technology. Let's see. Oh wait. There we go. Perfect. It did. In case you were wondering, that was Michael Jackson performing live at the Dangerous tour. I don't know why that. Well, I know why that was the first video that popped up on my thing, because my brain is either obsessed with something or it's not. Thank you to everybody that came out to Maryland. God, we had a great time out in Magoobies. The one pug in the world that I like manages that club. His name is Pino. I met him last year when I was there. He was a year old, and now he's a full-grown man. He's 2, so for a pug, that's half middle-aged. That's the one that I will stand by. It's like when Bender was like, kill all humans, except Fry. Pino is my Fry. Thank you to everybody that came out to Magoobies. Maryland is such it's a place. And there's more tour dates coming up, but you wouldn't be able to tell it by my website because that's all fucked up right now off the top of my head. Let me see what's coming up. I just sniffled in the podcast. I'm so sorry. Let me do that again. I'm not doing coke, I promise. It's allergy season. I hate the heat. It makes me feel menopausal, and I'm a pussy as is. That was too many P's for the microphone, but hopefully I can get rid of that with that click, 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 remover. Austin 7th and June 7th and 8th, I'm going to be in Austin, Bananas Comedy Club this weekend, and there's probably some more June dates. Hopefully I'll have that updated for you as soon as I can. TroyBondLive.com for the dates that are available. And we will figure. I feel like Jeff Goldblum, minus the accusations. And yes. Let's listen to some voicemails. This one is from Kaleo. Let's see what Kaleo had to say. Let's check this out. Some of these messages could get weird. All right.
G'day Troy, g'day fucking Tori. My name's Kayla. I'm fucking huge fan from fucking Australia cunt. And just fucking wanted to let you know I fucking love your shit. And when are you coming to Oz, big dogs?
Kylio, I love the Australian accent, man. I love the Australian people. They're the best audience members to have at a comedy show. They have such a great sense of humor, and you kind of have to be Australian because, like, yes, they got rid of guns because there was one mass shooting in, like, the 90s, but you could still get like killed by like a jellyfish fart, you know, like it. And you got to have a sense of humor at that when you're at your uncle's funeral or a loved one's funeral, and they're like, "Yeah, he lived a great life, mate. Till jellyfish queefed on him. But he was a bloody bastard, I tell you that." I can't really do the Australian accent. I could do no Omega from Bad Batch. No, they always got to put an R in it. No. But thank you, Calio. I would love to go to Australia and take that 26-hour flight, as Tony Soprano would say, just for it to look like Sarasota. But I would love to come check it out there. Thank you for the love from down under. It's crazy the reach the internet has. I guess that's why it's worldwide, Troy. It's just insane. It's insane what people and where have found me. And I hope you are all on some sort of medication. Sorry if I keep moving the mic around. I want to make sure it's at good volume to where you're not annoyed with me and you're not going to cause any car accidents at work. But thank you, Kylie, my dog. Once again, these messages were from January. I will do an updated voicemail link for everybody. You can leave these voicemails at speakpipe.com/bondingpodcast if you want to leave me a voicemail. This one is from Gina. Let's see what Gina has to say. 43 seconds, goddamn.
Hey, what's up? It's your girl Gina from St. Pete. Just wanted to call and say hey. I met y'alls at the festival a couple weekends ago, and I only seen like a few clips. I wouldn't say I was like a huge fan, but I gotta say, like, y'all's kind of blew me away. A special shout out to Troy. You're like honestly a really sweet soul, and like with society crumbling, we need more of that. Honestly, Star Trek utopian vibes. But yeah, much love. Take care, and yeah.
Fuck Star Trek, Gina. That's for nerds. It's all about Star Wars, but I understand what you were saying. Star Trek is always like, I always felt the biggest difference between Star Trek and Star Wars is Star Trek was kind of like a, if humanity ever got its shit together, it could be as beautiful as the mission of Star Trek, which was to find life on other planets and whatever the fuck the mission was. Like I said, it was for nerds. I'm a Star Wars fan. That's for dogs. But I do love Star Trek. Thank you, Gina. The St. Pete Comedy Festival was in January. I had a great time down there. I'm going to be back in Florida at Dania Beach. Dania, I have no fucking idea how to say it, but I'm going to be at that beach, one of your many beautiful beaches down there in Florida, in July. So if you're around, come through. But I'm also coming back to St. Pete very soon. And thank you for saying I was a kind soul. I was heavily medicated. And now I'm back to being bipolar. So appreciate it. It's nice to be able to be recognized, Let's see what Mr. Anonymous. 3-second anonymous voicemail. This is going to be dangerous or horny.
Hoopla!
That was Tori Cole. 100%. And I know that for two reasons. Not just because I know her voice so well, because her frame of reference on everything is SpongeBob. And even when she's not here, she's with us. It's like a ghost you didn't ask for, This next one is for, I love you, Tori. Make sure you're listening to Tori's stupid podcast. Not dig. That's literally what her podcast is called. Tori's stupid podcast, everybody. That's what she's doing. My dear friend. You can see us both at Bananas Comedy Club this weekend if you're around. This one is from Julia. What's up, Julia? What you got to say?
Bro, my wife.
This one is from Julio. Whoops. Julio, my bad, dog. Please don't punch me if you see me on the streets.
Has been talking about you nonstop. And she told me that if she ever had a hall pass, it will be with you. Now, my question to you, will you be her hall pass?
I gotta be honest with you, Julio. I have no for two reasons. One, I'm not sure what your wife looks like, and two, you sounded way too into it. Like you would want to be in the room while it's happening, and you talk in pauses like a supervillain, Julio. It's kind of scary. Like I've never heard a cuckold proposition ever quite put like Dracula before. That's what you should change your name to. My wife would not stop talking about you, so I have a question for you. Ha 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 ha. Would you have a sex with my wife? I will be in the room, in the closet, yes, taking notes as you suck a clit. Dracula don't suck blood. Dracula scrape and lick. So I'm flattered, Julio, but it's a no for me, dog. Just on the basis of feeling like I need a shower after hearing you ask that. But I'm sure she's beautiful. I'm sure she's a knockout. She's a 10. Stephanie, let's see what Stephanie has to say. I'm not saying your full names either, so you don't feel like, I'm doxing you, even though you didn't leave your addresses or social security numbers or anything like that. All right, let's see what Stephanie had to say.
Hi, this is Stephanie sending a message from motherfucking Cleveland, Ohio. I just want to say that I love you both, and this podcast is hilarious. If I were to ask you guys a question, it would have to be if you guys could pick any actor or actress to play you in a movie about your life, who would it be? Yeah, I love you guys.
Thank you, Stephanie. I love Cleveland, Ohio. I went out there. My name is Cleveland Brown, and I did a city tour at Cleveland in Ohio with family. Cleveland is, it's beautiful. God damn it, the sniffles again. This allergy season changing is killing. Oh, it's going to make me sneeze. I sniffled too close to the sun. Dear God, maybe I could will it. I tell my body what to do. My body doesn't tell me what to do. I tell my body what to do. My body... No sneeze. Mind over matter. If you don't mind, it don't matter. Stephanie, great question. If I could have any actor play me in a movie, who would I want to play me? Me, honestly. I feel like J. Cole. My life is too crazy. No actor can play me. My life is too crazy. No actor can play me. This is what you call the fit. Like Richard Pryor had a great biopic called JoJo Circus. Your Life is Calling. I think that's what it's called. And he played himself in a biopic, and I think that's who I would want to play me. Tori, I'm gonna guess for her. Edie Falco would be a great actress for Tori in the biopic in Edie's later years, of course, or in Tori's later years, because she gets insulted when I tell her she looks like a bad bitch like Edie Falco, who I met at a Knicks game, and she was nothing but friendly to me. She was amazing. I was starstruck. I was at a Knicks game, and then they took us to this like banquet hall, and I'm sitting there, and there's like Neil deGrasse Tyson and Fat Joe, and who is like standing in line, being like, I was like, do you want to get food? Because they had like a buffet, and he was like, nah, man, I gotta feel it first. I gotta feel it before I eat it. Oh, I just knocked over my water. He was like, I gotta feel it, and I was like, okay, no problem. And I walked away, and I see Edie Falco, and I tried so hard not to fangirl, and I absolutely did. And I think Tori looks like her, because I love Carmela Soprano and Oz. That's me drinking my Aquafina. I found it. Here comes the black scent. This message is from Sky.
I'm in love with you.
Thank you, Sky. I hope one day you get... It was very considerate of you to leave that message while you were being kidnapped. And I hope you got out of that trunk very soon. This one is from Dustin Knapp. K-A-N-A-P-P. Dustin Knapp. This is the guy who kidnapped you. Dustin.
Hello. I hope this message finds you well. I had one question for you. When was the last time you indulged in a sweet, succulent nut? I hope it was recently. I would like to see it. Send in my best regards. Me. Sent from iPhone.
It's always nice to hear from your grandmother. who was the first person to get the polio vaccine, and that's why she talks like first generation Siri. This one is from Jojo Kazma. Jojo Kazma. That sounds a great name. Sounds like the name I'd give to the cops after they've been looking for me for months. Yeah, see, we've been looking at you, boy. Declaring all them fake checks. Didn't think it would ever catch up to you, did it? Well, it did, Mr. What's your name, boy? Jojo Kazma. And then you kick over a barrel and smoke flies out and shit. And then you get away. Jojo Kazma, part 1. I'm listening. I'm here, Netflix. Let's see what Jojo says.
Okay. Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
I had 2 questions that I'm just curious on y'all's thoughts. Have you guys ever experienced like the weirdest kinks, or have you ever discovered weird kinks that you didn't even know were kinks? And the second question was, how do you feel about like the new generation and how they're growing, like with their new like social media, them making TikToks? Like, how do you guys feel about the generation as compared to how you guys grew up and now? Like, do you feel like it's a big difference, or do you feel like maybe they're acting the same as how you did? But those are the 2 questions. Sorry it took me so long to remember, but I love you guys. You guys are both freaking awesome. And yeah.
Wow, Jojo, that question was both thoughty and thoughtful questions. Okay, 2 different brain modes I gotta sort of function in on here. First, I would say, how do I feel about kinks? Have I ever discovered any kinks? Like I'm Kinkstopher Columbus? No, none that I could think of. I guess recently I discovered my kink is when you're having sex with someone that you really love, it feels great as opposed to not as great. It's like stuffed crust pizza, you know? They found more places to put cheese, and I love cheese already, and now if I eat pizza that doesn't have crust in it, it's like, what's the fucking point? You know? No kinks that I could think of. One time a girl asked me to spit in her mouth, and I went, ugh. And she left soon after because I'm a bit of a germaphobe. And my mouth was kind of dry too, you know? Like, if I spit in her mouth, it would have looked like a cat trying to give up a hairball. Just, and you don't want that, you know? Your mom did not give up Chardonnay for 9 months for you to ask someone to spit in your mouth. But if that's your thing, hey, do it. Just make sure that there's Listerine involved before and after, because, you know, that's pretty sure how AIDS got started. Transitioning into today's youth, which was the next topic of discussion. How do I feel about their generation? They're probably going to be the smartest ones out of all of us. And I use my brother, who is, I guess, in the next generation, so to speak. He's 20, and he's going to school to be a psychologist. One of his brothers is me, a so-called comedian, and his other brother, Logan Bond, is an ultimate fighter. So I think he looked at both of those and went, all right, I got to figure out what's going on here, because whatever is going on in their blood ain't working. This generation has so much access to information, and mine did too. We were sort of the first ones to grow up on the internet. You know, if you were born from, I would say like 85 to any time now, you grew up on the internet. I spent my youth in middle school, high school, and Facebook and Tumblr. And there was no restrictions, like ISIS beheading videos and that guy from that Netflix documentary, Don't F with Cats. Like, I saw all of that unfiltered on the internet and then go home and play GTA 4, you know, or San Andreas, which was even more violent. it's probably going to usher in the most understanding time we've ever had in human history. There, everybody is aggressively progressive. Sometimes that has its cons, where everyone acts like we're a bunch of Quakers and we have to do everything pure and right, and there's no mistakes. But I think them growing up online is their parents' fault, because that's sort of the job of a parent, right? That's the whole viewer discretion advised. And I have to jump through those loops too, because you do hold a certain level of responsibility when you're the person holding that megaphone that people could see, of all ages. But it's like Miley Cyrus riding naked on the wrecking ball. That ain't my fucking problem. If you look at me as an idol, as a 12-year-old kid, I'm honored. But if you are a parent who's outraged at something I did, then maybe you should have been tossing the ball around instead of tossing the blame at whoever it is that you're trying to off the parenting to. It's like that episode of The Simpsons where Marge wrote into Itchy and Scratchy because it was too violent of a cartoon. You know, don't let your kids watch Itchy and Scratchy then, Marge, because then guess what? They're going to go watch it at a friend's house. My parents that was their policy. They were like, we're going to let you watch whatever you want to watch, because we know if we say no, you're going to go watch it at your buddy's house. And I did. Often. Not that often, because my parents let me watch whatever I wanted to. My dad let me watch South Park when I was a kid. And it was an episode where Cartman, I just remember this snippet very vividly because I've repeated it so much. Cartman was on an internet chat board, and he was like, I don't like midgets. They piss me off. And I went to school the next day and repeated that, and I got sent home. And my mom found out my dad let me watch South Park, and she was like, you let the boy watch South Park? And there was a lot of screaming that I heard over the pizza rolls that night. Romaine, let's see what my man Romaine, or woman, said on the voicemail. Love your lettuce.
Hey, I'm just sending some love from France. I don't know how many of us we are, but you have some friends in France, so come to France one day. You're very funny, you're the best guy, so have fun and enjoy. Bye.
Romaine, like Roman Polanski, who fled to France after he did some unsaintly things in Jack Nicholson's Hot Tub. Thank you, Romaine. I've had a few people reach out to me in France. My first love was from France. She was a foreign exchange student named, I'm not going to say her name because maybe Romaine knows her. I don't know how tight-knit the French are. I just know that the French-Canadian ones are kind of dicks. I learned that from Montreal. My first love was in high school, my junior year. She was from Belgium, but I think that's a part of France. That's a city in France. I don't know. I wasn't a geography guy. You know, I was a funny guy. Funny how? Funny like you don't know where the fuck Belgium is? Get you a fucking globe, you fucking mutt. But I would love to go to France. I would love to try your croissants and see children smoke, and a bunch of dudes just go, ha, 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 ha. This one is from Dale, question mark. Sounds like Dale's having an identity crisis. I feel like Frasier. Hello, Seattle. I'm Dr. Frasier Crane. I'm listening. And I'm also Beast in X-Men. Oh, my stars and gardens.
Hey, Troy. Never mind who this is or where I'm calling from. Look, the point is, I got a question about Star Wars for you, because I know you're a big, Marvel, Star Wars, Batman, DC Comics, kind of guy. I can tell it from your eyes. You know what I mean? You really have that, like, I was bullied for what I liked gaze going on, and everything. And you're like, oh, I got a microphone now, so now I can tell people what's up. And now liking fandom is really cool and everything. We get it, dude. Like, it's okay. Look, this is neither here nor there. Look, the point is, man, The Last Jedi, that movie, in your personal opinion, being someone who's, who knows all about Star Wars, who's watched a lot of Star Wars, who's probably watched a little bit too much Star Wars, who knows a bit too much, who dresses up a bit too much, who milks it a little bit too much, who gets into it a little bit too much, who won't shut up about it, what would you say that is the worst Star Wars movie ever made? And if it's not, what do you think is the worst one ever made? Suffice to say, I think it's actually not The Last Jedi, because then Rise of Skywalker came out, and I was in the movie theater with my family when we watched it, and I genuinely considered doing a 5-way murder suicide after that one. So anyway, Toodles, lots of love. Great glasses. You kind of look like an anorexic Clark Kent. Love you.
Go fuck yourself, Dale. Do I think The Last Jedi was the worst Star Wars movie ever made? No, but I think you were the worst caller to ever send in a voicemail to this podcast, and I'm going to write about you in my journal tonight. You sounded like a cop who was holding over the fact that if I'm being detained or not. You know, hey, buddy, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, the more times you call me buddy, the more I feel less like your buddy. You're the most passive-aggressive, not even passive-aggressive, you just straight-up aggressive, dog. Like, part of that voicemail hurt my feelings. Or at least it would if your opinion meant anything to me, Dale, question mark. At least I got the balls to display my virginity. And not for nothing, you're thinking about Star Wars just as much as I am, if you know the difference between movies. Only difference is I know what I'm talking about. And I didn't get this microphone. It was bestowed upon me by the people who made the very wrong decision to listen to my podcasts and watch my views about Star Wars millions of times over. The worthful millions, you know, like the millions of sperm that could have gone through, and yours was the one that penetrated the egg, Dale. So I'm glad that you left this voicemail, because that's the most amount of people that are ever going to listen to you in your pathetic voicemail leaving life. And I'd love and appreciate you for listening to this podcast, because nothing fuels me like hatred. And right now I got a full fucking tank of gas, Dale. You anonymous Twitter account of a person. I can't be more like Jojo Gizma. The Last Jedi is the best out of the sequel movies, which is sad because I did not enjoy that movie. But after seeing Rise of Skywalker, I would say that was the one I enjoyed the least amount. I think I saw it twice. And then my brother attempted suicide that weekend, Dale. And if I had to live on the same planet as you, I don't blame him for it. Next voicemail is from Lila Yikes. Layla Yikes. Which sounds like a Looney Tune character, but we'll rock with it. Layla Yikes. Let's see what she has to say.
Hello, Troy. My name is Layla, and I just wanted you to know that if there was any time that you wanted to go try on a new pair of shoes, you may bring me along and use me as your footstool. Thank you.
That may be the weirdest kink thing I've ever heard in my life. And I know there's tentacle stuff out there. I'm not sure what a footstool is. I'm thinking of those things that like you put your foot in and they measure your foot. Footstool, I have no, if you want to come along, that's fine. I thought this was going to be a shoe salesman commercial, but instead Layla's out here giving out free foot jobs, everybody. Layla Yikes LLC, if anybody needs to try on a new pair of shoes, whether they be kinky boots or blue suede, Layla's got you covered. 1, 2, 3, 4. This next voicemail right here is from Alicia. Let's see what she got to say.
Hey, Troy. My name's Alicia. I'm from
Alicia!
Omaha, Nebraska. I couldn't make it to your show when you came here due to my mom's health reasons, so I hope that you'll come back or somewhere close. I'm willing to travel. Just want to say happy belated. Thanks for being the unsung hero of Gotham by being Batman. Love your work. Keep it up, and I hope 2024 is great for you.
Thank you, Alicia. 3 things. One, this was from 4 months ago. My birthday's in January, and 24 was great for me. I'm now 28. So thank you for de-aging me. That was better than any moisturizer Gwyneth Paltrow could sell. So I guess those were 2 things. 3 thing, I would like to unequivocally deny the fact that I am Batman, or that there even is a so-called The Batman. We have yet to have any confirmed photos of him. You have not seen. I've been in the same room as him, and I am not Batman, despite what the press likes to report on. I am not Batman. But I heard that he has a huge schlong, so I could understand why you would think I might be Batman if you're listening to the word on the street. Let's see what Jay Reed got to say. I feel like a substitute teacher reading out these names before I hear you pronounce them. Jane Romby. Jamal, bitch. My name Jamal. Jay Reed.
Happy late birthday to Troy. I really hope that you had a really nice, special day with your loved ones. And I really look forward to watching your guys' podcast. You and Tori are so funny together. And I wish you guys a lot of success. And I'm sending my love and support all the way from Chicago.
I met her on my way to Chicago, where she was all alone, and so was I, so I asked her for a name. Thank you, Jay Reed. I had a great podcast. I had a great birthday. I was down in St. Pete, Florida, at Jimmy B's, or that's not the name of the hotel, but that's the restaurant it was connected to. And thank you for saying that Tori and I were funny together. Hopefully I'm just as funny without her, and if not, that's okay too. I'm not for everybody, but I know there's some people who are listening who are ride or die Troy fans, because they write me letters in blood every month and are sent to my direct address, which I was stupid enough to give out. Quinn, let's see what Quinn's got to say.
Happy New Year! I love you, Tori. I'm so grateful for you sharing.
Next! Tori's gone. She's not gone, but she's not on this podcast. I'm the main character today. Let's see who else we got. Voicemails from Jen YCE. Wow, what an extra name you got there, gents.
Happy birthday.
Okay, my birthday was in January, and it is almost June. So thank you for the birthday messages, but I will probably be skipping over any of those because I, like anything in life, procrastinated last time we did voicemails and actually got really sick. Shitting myself. Whole lot of blood. I was shitting. He was shitting blood. It was coming out his ass. And he was scared and he almost passed away. But now I'm back because this city deserves a better class comedian. And I'm going to give it to him. This next voicemail is from Scott Lane. Scott Lane, you don't have to leave a voicemail. Those days are over. No, actually, please leave me a voicemail at speakpipe.com/bondingpodcast. Let's see what she's got to say.
Hi, Troy. If I understand well, it's your birthday, so I just want to say happy birthday. Hope you celebrate it well, cheerfully with your friends and families. Waiting for you doing a world tour so you can come here in France. So yeah, that's it. So have a good day and maybe see you in the future if you go to the world tour to France. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Well, I guess I got to go to France now, man. That's the second one in one podcast. At first, I thought that you were a character in Anne Frank's diary hiding out in an attic, but turns out you're just a tiny little French woman named Amélie. I will get out to France as soon as my overlords approve it. I would love to go out there. I've seen London. I've seen underpants. I have not seen France. So once I get that last key ingredient, I will finally have reached my fully form. This one is from Gigi. Gigi sent me a voice message. Gigi. I like the name Gigi. That's what I used to call my great-grandmother before she died. Now I call her my grandmother Gigi, who passed.
Troy. Happy belated birthday, bitch. You're going to have to start looking into retirement home soon because damn, you're getting old. But hi, Tori. I love you. You're so beautiful.
Tori's not
I
here.
saw you guys in Naples back in November, and you guys are both funny as shit. So I booked a flight to Chicago, and I'm coming to see you guys next week. So have a great rest of your day. Have some fun podcasts, and I will see you both next week.
Well, Gigi, I'm sorry on two fronts. One, your beloved Tori Cole is not here right now. And two, I had to cancel my Chicago weekend shows because that's when I started shitting blood and I passed away. And it canceled for a month and had to rebrand everything. And that's why we're here now. But I'm hoping on rescheduling the Chicago shows, especially out in Zanies, because I love them. They were so good to me. I hope to see you the next time I'm out there in Chicago. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Everybody just got a ding. I am right now doing this off my laptop and everything is set and squared. Okay, here we go. This next one is from, let's see, Anonymous. A 40-second voice message from Anonymous. Oh boy, this is going to either be horny or invasive.
Good morning, Tori and Troy.
No, I go first.
My name is Tanya. I'm
Hi, Tanya.
from San Jose, California. I saw you guys while you were here. It's 9 a.m. right now.
Who gives a fuck?
I hope you guys have a great day. And I hope you come back soon. The show was a lot of fun, and I love the meet and greet. Tori, I feel like I gave you an unsolicited hug.
No. Anonymous. That's what you left your name under in the message, and it's also what's under your personality, because that voicemail was so boring, it would make a Cosby victim look like Usain Bolt. Thank you for the love, Tanya. Keela B.
Troy, in school, were you one of those guys that instead of like reading out of the textbook, they had a comic book right on top of the book? And you were reading that instead?
No, Keela, I was not, because I'm not a coward. I straight up read the comic books. Because, what were they going to do? Call my dad, who's going to come pick me up from school? My dad, who named my brother Logan after Wolverine. What was he going to do? Be mad his son was reading comic books at school? No. Now, he would be mad if his son didn't know where his father left his keys. No, I read a lot in school. I was usually the person in English class who they would pick to read the books because I would do voices. That's when I kind of learned how to do Homer Simpson. We were reading Of Mice and Men. I'd be like, "Oh, George, look at the rabbits."
Homie.
I almost went in the order.
Of men and mice there are.
But no, I wasn't a great student in school. I was on a lot of drugs and was going through puberty on top of that. And then I discovered comedy, which saved my life. And that's pretty much what school was to me. It was a place I got to go to charge my phone and to do the morning announcements every morning and still feel like the star. Desiree Stem. Desiree Stem. Let's see what she's got to say. Oh, this voice message.
Holy shit, long time no see. I miss you guys to death. And I'm still
Desiree.
hoping on that return to Nashville. But I have two questions. Troy, if you could be in any Martin Scorsese film, what would it be? And then Tori, what would be the moral of the story in your book, The Skittish Pigeon?
Next. Yeah, Tori's working on a book, The Skittish Pigeon. The same way the UN is working on solving world hunger. If I could be in any Martin Scorsese movie, Last Temptation of Christ, just so when they're hanging him on the cross, I could just be like, "Fuck you, Peter. Fuck you, Paul. Blame this on the Jews," even though it was the Italians. Most people would expect me to say Goodfellas. Recently, I sent out a tweet that said I want to star in the Godfather reboot as Michael and everyone else is a Muppet. Miss Piggy would have to be Don Corleone. Buonasera! What have I ever done to get you to treat me so disrespectfully? Be my friend, Godfather. Justice! You don't ask for justice. You ask for revenge. We're not murderers, you know. Kate, don't ever ask me about my family business. Is it true? This one time I'll allow you to ask me. Is it true, Michael? No, it's not true. Thank you for gaslighting me. But yeah, that's the Scorsese movie I pick, hands down. What do we got here? Let's go to 3 more voicemails. Hit it. I want to rock right now. I'm Troy Bond and I came to get down. I got a share. Please come to Erie. Erie is in, I don't fucking know. I was holding it a burp. I'm sorry. Here we go.
Hi, Troy. Hi, Tori. Just wanted to come in here and say happy late birthday to Troy.
Thank
Congrats,
you.
Tori, on the headliner. I'm so excited for you. Sending love from Erie, PA.
Pennsylvania.
And you
Thank
guys should definitely come down because, like, everything else sucks here. I'd
Yeah,
buy
great
tickets in a
advertisement
heartbeat.
for us to
But,
come down.
I just started listening to you guys during my Christmas break in college, and I've really enjoyed going on walks or doing busy work while listening. I think overall I really appreciate your guys' humor, but also the intelligence it takes to make the jokes that you do. Just wanted to say that you guys are doing really great, and I can't wait to see what you guys do next.
You heard it here first, folks. Bonding Podcast, your number one source for smart comedy and interesting takes. That's right. You ever hear about the Great Emu War? Yes, not many have. The Great Emu War. I forget what year it takes place. Might have been the 20s, might have been the 70s. I'm a comedian, not a scholar, but apparently this is some real shit. You can look it up. The Great Emu War was when Australia was overrun by emus, and they were starting to fuck up their crops. And people were having a hard time with the food supply, so the government armed the farmers so they could start drive-buying emus. And the emus said, "Put up or shut up, bitch. I'm a motherfucking emu, dog. I will dog walk your ass. I will emu walk all over your ass, homeboy." And they did. And the humans lost. It's basically what the United States did in Vietnam. And we just basically had to give up. And luckily, the emus and man are able to coexist peacefully. Not far off from George Bush's wish of man and fish coexisting peacefully. But the emus sort of just backed off. So forget Planet of the Apes. Planet of the Emus is a much more likely scenario because you have to figure it's like, they're tall, they got long necks. If you're going to watch Peter Dinklage go into a fight with Shaquille O'Neal, who's your money on? Better hope Dinklage knows how to take out a kneecap. That's what I'm saying. And the Aussies at the time did not. This next voice message is from Andy.
Hi guys. So first off, I love your guys' podcast, and I love you guys so much. You guys give really great advice in your podcast, and I listen to it nonstop when I'm doing homework or when I'm doing anything really. And I love both of your guys' comedy. I really hope to see a show from both of you soon. I haven't seen a date for LA where I live from either of you, so I hope I do soon. And my question is, do you guys have any advice from a student like myself who's just trying to find themselves and trying to figure out what they want to do as a career, trying to find their passion? And I feel like you guys would have great advice for that. So hope you guys answer on the podcast, and I love you guys.
Andy, I hope you make it out of that orphanage that I heard in the background of this voicemail. I appreciate you very much. When was the last time I was in LA? It was a few months ago. I'm trying to get back out there soon. Trying to join the Illuminati parties. But thank you very much. Hope to see you when I'm out there in LA. What's an piece of advice I can give to a student? Well, the first thing that I would say is the day you stop learning is the day you die. You never are not learning something. And if you're in college, if you're in high school, chances are you're doing a lot of planning out your life. And I can speak from my experience. I don't know that it's universal, but everything that's happened to me in my life fell on my lap. Now, did it fall on my lap like a giant safe out of the sky? No, it fell on my lap because I was working toward a goal. And in the pursuit of that goal, the preparation met opportunity, and I seized it. And the most important thing is to stay calm and quiet your mind, because it's very easy to feel like you have a limited time to get your shit together when in actuality you have the rest of your life. And the rest of your life could be at 19, it could be at 84. That's the beauty of life, is it's something we all take part in, and there's people around you who love you and care about you and will go along for the journey and will maybe. I mean, I think Tori was telling me once about that time she ran into someone and she told her how old she is. Tori's 64. I'm kidding. I think Tori is she's 30, I think. Tori was told by the woman, "I'm so jealous for all the people in your life you haven't met yet." And I think about that a lot. I think about that a lot on New Year's. I think who are going to be the new characters in my life this year. Because hindsight is 2020, and the greatest teacher is failure, and you have the rest of whatever you decide to do, you're gonna do it for the rest of your life, and life is short, but it's long, and Jerry Seinfeld said, "Find the torture you're comfortable with," and that was a piece of advice that always stuck with me because life is hard. And it doesn't get easier. It in fact gets worse. And the reminder of you survived 100% of your bad days is something important to keep in the forefront of your brain. Because Eleanor Roosevelt said, no one can hurt you without your permission. And if you have the intent on having a good day, you will have a good day. Unless your grandmother dies that day. Then it's probably going to be a day of grief. Unless you hated your grandmother, then that's going to be a good day too. And that just shows you the power of manifestation, in my opinion. Mehin. Sorry for the accidental racist infliction on your name.
Hi, Tori and Troy. My name is Mahin, and
Mahin!
Just wanted to say that I
Mahin.
really like your podcast. It's really funny, and you also talk about some important things, so that's great. I just had one question for Troy, which is that you've mentioned in a couple of episodes that you just don't like yourself, and I was just wondering, what is it that you don't like about yourself?
Why do I hate myself, Mahin? That's a whole podcast episode dedicated to itself. And I think that self-hatred is what fuels the dog in me, because that dog in me is mad at itself for getting into the garbage. Paige!
Hey Troy, hey Tori. I have a two-part question. Do you have any tattoos? If yes, what are they? And if no, what would you get if you were to get a tattoo?
Thank you, Paige. I don't have any tattoos. My parents have 50. My brother Logan's got, I don't know. I haven't looked at his body in a long time. Not since we used to take bats together till I was 24. I'm too much of a bitch, and I'm also too much of a nerd, If I start getting tattoos now, I'll look like Darth Maul with just covered head to toe in Batman, Spider-Man, and whatever the fuck else I could just put on my skin. Tori, I believe, has a few tattoos. She has a jellyfish from SpongeBob on her wrist. She has a white girl quote tatted somewhere, and I think a flower somewhere else. I haven't spent a whole lot of time looking at Tori's body, which is ironic considering the amount of time we spend with each other, but we're usually looking at the attractions we're at, such as Las Vegas. I don't know why that was the first one that came to mind. But no, I don't have any tattoos because I'm a bitch, Paige. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a bitch. A bitch is a bitch. This one is from Danny. Now, again, some of these are from... This one is from Friday, August 11th, 2023. I'm going back and I'm trying to listen to as many voicemails as I can because this is going to be one of the bookend segments we're going to be doing on the pod. Usually I'll have a guest. Yesterday's guest, we had to reschedule, so that's why the guest is you today. But let's see what. And if you'd like to leave a voicemail, I'd like to remind you again, speakpipe.com/bondingpodcast. Pretty sure that's how you do it. If not, leave me a bad Yelp review. Let's see what Danny Brasco. Yeah.
Hi, y'all. My name is Danny.
Danny.
And August 12th is my birthday. So I was trying to DM Troy to give me a birthday shout out on his story and tag me on my main. But yeah, he's my favorite comedian, and all I'm trying to do is just get a shout out. Thank you.
Well, Danny, I'm sorry to say I missed your birthday by 9 months, but I got to this year's birthday 3 months earlier. So happy birthday, Danny. Shout out on the Bonding Podcast, which is not like an Instagram story. This is going to live forever, just like me and the love I have for you. Happy birthday, Danny. I hope you had a great year, and I hope you'll have an even better year this year, because it's 2024 and it's the year of truth, ladies and gentlemen, as Cat Williams would say. Marisol. I love that name, but doesn't it sound like a cleaner? I like it, though. Marisol. Make me want to clean my life up, Marisol.
Hey Troy, hey Tori. So I just saw you at the Atlanta show last week and it was amazing. And now I found the podcast and I'm obsessed. So I just started acting last year and I just realized how much fear can fuck with your head. And I was just wondering if you had any tips or tricks on stage fright and if there's traditions you do before you go on stage each time. Love to hear back from you. Thanks.
Well, Marisol, as someone who's been performing essentially his whole life, I grew up in a karate school where we would have tournaments and we not only spar, but we would do open hand forms and we would do jiu-jitsu katas. And then I was I was my father's first student, and I was the first black belt that he ever had. And nerves and by proxy stage fright mean you care about it. And you should be happy that you're nervous, because it shows that you've found your passion in life, your calling, and you care about whatever it is that you're about to do. And I don't ever get nervous, but I just lost a light. God damn it. I do get insecure. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know how to do this. Before every show, I'm backstage and I'm like, I don't know how to do this. Why did they let me do this? I'm going to get in trouble for robbing all these people. Like, what the fuck is going on? And there's nothing that's ever going to stop that feeling. In my book, or any of the self-help books that I've read, I just sort of have to gaslight myself. My father, when we were growing up in the karate school, would not allow us to say can't got you 50 push-ups. He also very much hated the saying, the best that you can be, because that would aim too low. He would say best of the best. 100% is not enough. The best way to deal with stage fright, in my opinion, is you have to have a few rough performances and realize you didn't explode after, right? So if that was the worst thing that could have happened, then anything else can be dealt with. People who are there in attendance to watch you do something creative they're rooting for you. They want you to do a good job. They paid for a good show. They want to see a good show. They obviously believe in you if they paid for it. And if they didn't believe in you and they just came to the show anyway, then by the end of it, they will believe in you. Because if you believed in yourself enough to get on stage, then you're your harshest critic. You got past that, you're going to get past anything. And as Qui-Gon would say, your focus determines your reality. So if you have the focus of going on stage and saying, I am not going to be just an empty vessel, I am going to give a voice to the voiceless in this character, or in this stand-up routine, or on this stripper pole, sky's the limit. I hope that was inspiring enough. That could have been a congealed sandwich. But Marisol, I believe in you and your acting career, and I wish you nothing but the best. I was a theater kid myself. What did I do? I did Annie Get Your Gun. I was Buffalo Bill Cody. I did a bunch of other straight plays that like nobody would know. Hamlet versus Zombies. Lady Sign No More. I did my freshman year of high school. Had my first stage kiss. Fell in love with the girl who I did the stage kiss with because I was 15 and horny. Swore she was my soulmate. And now I'm glad that the voting age is 18 because I was so wrong. Let's do. Oh man, we've been recording for 56 minutes. Okay, let's get down to our last few ones here. Let's see.
Hey, Troy and Tori, calling from Australia.
Australia again!
I'd love to hear more about Troy's experience as a Dominican lesbian, as he says. I too am mixed race and look very racially ambiguous. It feels like a unique experience. I'm sure everyone's had their own experiences and they're all very different. But yeah, I'd just love to hear more about Troy's, and hope to see you guys out in Australia soon.
Thank you very much, Australia. The thunder from down under is the theme on this podcast today. You know, it's interesting you say that because I've always looked at it this way. If I told everybody my blackness and my whiteness is often denied to me, right? It's very interesting because if I walked around telling everybody that I was black, they would go, "No, you're white." And if I walked around telling everybody I was white, they'd go, "No, you're black. You have a black dad." And I was never really quite sure how to identify with myself. And in 2020, that was sort of highlighted for me because I used to go on stage and say, "I'm half black and half white," and I came out a Dominican lesbian. But I realized my experience as there is no such thing as half black. You know, I have a black dad. I have black genetics, black DNA. I'm not sure if that even is such a thing. I hope I'm not butchering that. But my experience is having a black dad and looking like this, not even racially ambiguous, damn near white. My experience, even though I identify with the black side of my family, I spent more time with them growing up culturally. I don't have the same experience that they do when dealing with police, for example, right? I could switch it up if I had to. I could code switch with my black side and then go talk to my white side and code switch up with them. No black person has that advantage unless you're Clarence Thomas. So for me as a mixed race individual, I have to be thinking about my responsibility of what that means and how I can constantly be aware of both my privilege and my ancestry. And luckily, both sides of my family loved each other very much. And I grew up understanding tolerance and tolerance and what's another word I'm looking for? Acceptability. Because I saw the discrimination. I saw people stare at my parents with the racism stare, you know, just like the Tucker Carlson, I can't believe the race mixing stare. And that's why I don't sanctimoniously stand up for marginalized groups when I use my voice to do so. I do it because I grew up around it and I saw what happens firsthand, the effects of what happens when someone's not allowed to be who they are. To go off on a small tangent, my uncle was gay, and it's on my dad's side of the family. Being gay is not something that the black community takes very lightly. My uncle used to say, "Black folks will slap you straight." And he was kicked out of his house by his Bible Belting grandfather when he was 18, and it led him down a life of isolation and drugs, which eventually got me hooked on drugs and essentially, in turn, ruined my life. And I always wondered what his life would have turned out to be if he were allowed to be who he wanted to be. So I think the greatest blessing out of being mixed race, aside from the slow aging process, the melanin in my skin, and the giant horse cock swinging between the bell tower, is it taught me tolerance. And it taught me that we're all connected, and the only difference amongst human beings is whether or not they're as dickish to me as Dale was at the beginning of this podcast. And honestly, I feel like that's a great note to wrap up on today. I feel I got really intimate with you guys, and I got to catch up with a lot of you who left voicemails months ago, and I hope that you will continue to leave voicemails at speakpipe.com/bondingpodcast. If you're watching on YouTube, please be sure to subscribe on Spotify or Apple so when an episode drops, you don't miss one. And I would like to thank Will Diamond for his edits, Tori Cole for being absent, and I would like to thank my mother for not aborting me. So until next week, ladies and gentlemen, be kind, rewind, and wipe twice, please.